Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NFT Morning Show. Today is June 20th. It's Tuesday morning. If it's your first time listening, we run this show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, where we discuss all things NFTs, crypto, technology, entertainment, gaming, finance, and just about everything in between. I'm your host, Pio, here with my co-host, Nifty Nick. I mean, Nick, you are just flexing on everybody, just flossing on people with these aviator sunglasses that you were inspired to buy after you saw the relaunch of Top Gun in theaters. You thought you were Tom Cruise. You guys are similar heights. What's going on with those sunglasses?
First of all, I'm taller than Tom Cruise, let it be known. People describe me as short, but I'm like
average height.
That's from disrespectful jerks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you like to hang out with a lot of 6 foot tall people, so they all kind of call you short, but relatively you're not at all. You're fucking huge.
And I wore these before Tom Cruise was a baby.
Well, you bought them immediately after seeing the film. For what it's worth, I'm 6 feet tall. When I was in the Hamptons a few weeks ago, a woman called me short. So that's an interesting place to be also. So don't feel too bad, Nick. Nick, you feeling good today?
I feel better. I got 8.5 hours of sleep last night, which is pretty good. But I think you can't make up for the hours missed. So you need to.
It takes 2 days. That's the rule. It takes 2 days to recoup the sleep.
So I think tomorrow, after another 8.5, if I hit that back to back, I'm coming in real hot.
I mean, I love it. That means that we're almost rocking with 9-hour Nick. And everybody knows 9-hour Nick is a thing of legend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure there's some new listeners here. They need to understand 9-hour Nick is something you want to look out for. You're not going to get him all the time, but when you do, it's pretty significant. Anyway, moving on. We got Easy on the show, the dog behind BoDoggos, BoDoggos, the host of GM Market Talk, day trader extraordinaire, paying attention to the market like nobody else in the space. We got Signal, coder turned content creator, the host of the Artist Spotlight series at the Nifty, the weather reporter in residence here at the NFT Morning Show. We got Spencer of Spencer Ventures representing for institutional capital. We were talking about him with another investor yesterday, and he said, wait a minute, is that Spencer from Spencer Ventures? And I said, you bet your ass it is. Everybody knows about Spencer Ventures in the investing world. It's blowing up.
There was a girl in the street that came up to me and said, do you know Spencer from Spencer Ventures? That was what happened the other day after we spoke with the investor. And she was like, he's on this podcast that everybody's talking about. I don't know. That was what some random chick in the street said to me.
Everybody's talking about our podcast in the sense that they're putting comments on our new viral video that are negative. And so that's what you want for engagement. You want negative comments.
I feel like they were pretty positive.
No, they're pretty positive, but on TikTok, it's literally like, bruh, go home is a typical comment from a TikTok commenter, if you guys were wondering. Maybe we'll do a new segment where we just read TikTok comments. Normally, we would have Bunny. Bunny is in the audience listening right now. My assumption, okay, so his bio says Franklin is back, everything is fine. I'm going to go ahead and assume that Bunny is operating a vehicle because he just dropped his children off to school.
2 hours late.
And they were a little bit late. And so he's just either that or, and you know what? Since he's not on the show, he'd be on the show if he was coming back. Oh, he's on stage. Bunny, did you drop him off at school yet? Or are you on the way to school now?
Yeah, we're good, dude. Last 2 days, they're all half days, so I got to be there a little bit earlier. Going to cut into my nap time. But Franklin's
into
back,
your nap time or the children's nap time?
Well, both. It's the same nap time.
Pio, ask him what an average nap is.
What's an average nap, Bunny?
3 hours.
It's not a nap.
How long do you 3 to 4 hour naps?
That's like a night's sleep almost.
Nick slept for 8.5 hours last night.
That's because we wanted 9-hour Nick. We don't get 9-hour Nick all the time.
Did you go to sleep last night, Bunny?
I do I sleep I go to bed late, so I probably did 2 to 7.
You're not napping. You're like doing 2 sleep.
He's on the Kobe Bryant schedule. He does 4 hours middle of the day, 4 hours at night.
Well, thanks for sharing your sleep schedule, Bunny. It's not weird at all. Look, we got a lot to talk about today. Today, we're going to discuss the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the continued dip on it as it reaches Bunny's 40 ETH price target. The owner of the mysterious FAF wallet has finally been revealed. And we are going to discuss a bit about Nike's Dot Swoosh and Fortnite collaboration as it goes live today. Also, we're going to do a little pop culture segment, and Nick's going to help us decide where in the show it should fit. So I'm waiting on Nick to give me a little ping on where he wants to put it. And I'm flexible, buddy. We can put it wherever you think is best, and keep the sunglasses on while we do it. But today's show is brought to you by BoDoggos. So last night, 5 Hour Nick took a snapshot of all Nifty Portal holders.
That Easy did it.
Yeah, I knew that, but I just read the copy anyway. It was Easy that did it. He took a snapshot of all the Nifty Portal holders who will now be able to participate in the BoDoggos presale, which starts today. Okay, so the exact details are going to get tweeted out today. They'll be posted in Discord. Make sure you follow BoDoggo's account on Twitter for the latest update. Clemente has a bunch of tweets pinned. We also shared a video of the BoDoggos art yesterday, the making of the BoDoggos art, the first iteration to the actual iteration that's making it into the collection. And just want to clarify, because the NFT space, you need to really be on the nose. It's the making of. So the stuff at the beginning is not actually going to be in the collection. Didn't think we'd have to clarify that, but here we are. We're clarifying it. Okay. Lastly, today we're going to be sharing the next chapter of the BoDoggos origin story. You may have remembered comic number 1 from a couple months ago, but we're going to give you a refresher in just a second. Also, one reminder based on some things I've seen people tweeting and posting in Discord. The pre-sale starts today. The key word there is pre. The actual sale is Tuesday of next week. So I want to make it clear. When you participate in
today's the free sale, so you can get it for free.
No, we didn't say that. We said it was.
We should also clarify, because the number one question is, are they getting a discount? It's the same price as mid price. So on Solana, a lot of times pre-sales get a discounted rate. It's the same price, 80 United States dollars. It's going to be running from today to Monday, about the same time. The public allow list 1, allow list 2 starts Tuesday, June 27th. So Tuesday of next week, 7 days from today.
Can I dump this on anyone's head if they're paying the same price as me?
Don't worry about it, Bunny.
You're going to forget to mint. You're going to sleep through it. You're going to complain about it for 3 to 4 days, and then you're going to get over it.
There you go. And last thing is, so it's a pre-sale, right? So you're going to have to wait until Tuesday of next week for the actual distribution, okay? So you're not going to have your BoDoggos yet. It's kind of like if you got in a token pre-sale, you got to wait for it to be distributed. Anyway, let's do Comic 1. Clemente, can you pull up Comic 1? For people that are just listening.
A colonic?
For people that are just listening to the audio, this was designed to also work for just audio. The YouTube folks are able to enjoy it. Clemente will pin the actual video. It's been out for a while. You've had plenty of chances to watch it, but definitely refresh your memory and check it out. Clemente, let's zoom in so we can see it.
Clemente,
in all its
zoom in.
In all its glory. There we go. A little bit more, buddy.
Just slightly more, man. We need it to be the proper size. If it can fill as much of this as possible, that'd be great, dude. Like if you could really just hit the nail on the head. Can you hit the nail on the head? Can you take the hammer and hit the nail?
Pause it, Clemente.
You
start it over, please.
Audio.
This is like I feel like this is Clemente. This is like what I deal with when I'm doing the dishes, and my wife is like telling me how to do the dishes as I'm doing the dishes. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll use the other brush for that one, Bill.
Your name's Bill?
When I'm doing dishes, it is.
That's my dad's name.
Exactly.
Okay. Your dad lives in Belgium, so the German accent you do is okay. Clemente, are we ready to press play on this thing?
We're ready to rumble. Here we go.
Press play.
Let's go.
Something about a good rain. The sounds, the smells.
Stop it.
It's like electricity.
Stop it. We can't see it.
It's going. It's going. It's going.
I don't think it was. Go ahead, Clemente.
It's just slow to display it. So
Wi-Fi might be slow. All right. Well, one more time. Here we go.
You can feel it in the air.
Fix it. No. Go, all right, I got it. I'm going to play it from the actual file. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Didn't see this coming. Didn't know we were going to have Wi-Fi issues for this.
This is doing a live show. You just got to go with it, you know?
Yeah, we're going with it. Someone fill 10 seconds of air while I do this,
now
please.
know.
Dude, so there's a missing submarine.
Wait, no, stop. That's for later.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna
I
do
okay.
it.
now know what it feels like to have been on a music video with Pia. You start your choreography. No. Hand
Stop.
too high. Hand
Stop.
too high.
Yeah,
Bring
you
it
like
down.
twist your neck
Bring it
because you're like
down.
mid move.
Wait, stop.
Mid move. He's like, stop.
Stop.
What I will say is, I used to get wicked frustrated directing people because, like,
We know.
80% of the time they would just do what you told them to, but there was like this weird 20% where you would directly tell them something, they'd look you in the face and nod their head and be like, yep, I got it. And then you'd hit like action, you'd start rolling and they just wouldn't do it. And I just couldn't process it. I was like, why aren't you doing it?
I literally see you as like a famous Italian movie director that when he got really emotional, he'd like gently open hand slap you, but then after the end of the scene, he'd kiss you on the lips and it would be like, you'd love him. You would be like, that slap was necessary.
That sounds very abusive. Here we go. So let's go. Here it is.
React to that moment.
Something about a good rain. The sounds, the smells. It's like electricity. You can feel it in the air. Reminds you of being a kid. That steady driving rhythm of the fat drops falling down all around. Like even the city's darkest secrets could get washed clean. And everything will be brand new as soon as the sun comes out. At least that's what I used to think. But not tonight. Not in this town. Not in this kind of rain. Felt like the sun might never shine again. In no time, my overcoat was soaked through and the midnight wind was so cold it cut straight to the bone. I ducked in the corner bodega for some smokes and took my time, hoping it might let up. Standing there in the doorway, I heard a car door slam and looked up in time to see a beat-up old clunker screech out of the parking lot, bald tires spinning on the slick asphalt. What's the big rush, I thought? Where could anybody be going on a night like this? That's when I saw the box. Nothing better to do, so I walked over to have a look at whoever was driving that car was so eager to leave behind. I looked down, and in that one moment, I knew my life would never be the same.
Well, there you go. There's
Tearing up,
animation
man.
number one.
That was incredible. I love that stuff.
You fake crying, Kicks. So there's animation number
sales.
one, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for the show. Kicks, it's your turn to do the weather report.
Let's go on a special day like this. Let's get right in there.
Let's do it.
Woo! What day is today, PO?
It's Tuesday, baby.
It's Tuesday, the 20th of June. Volume coming in 32.1 million. Blur 17, OpenSea 4.5. Looking over to the leaders, we got Apes 40.5. Mutants 8.1. A lot of people talking shit as they're knocked down. That's not cool. Punks 50.9. Azuki 16.7. We got D-Nuts 10.2. They're like, we're the only other ones in the double digits other than Azuki. Bronze medal to us. Captain's 8.3. Pudgy's 4.4. Over the past 24 hours, despite daily unique wallets seeing a mild uptick, large whales supporting top PFPs and the upcoming Forge confirmed by Garga, Bored Ape Yacht Club's floor fell to 40 ETH with sales as low as 39.3 over the past 24 hours. Sorry if the music's coming in a little hot. Ordinal Labs introduced Bitmap, a way to permanently inscribe onto a Satoshi and claim ownership of Bitcoin blocks. I don't even know what that means. Ordinal Wallet introduced a tool allowing you to own Bitcoin property for as little as $2. That's a great deal. You can't even get a Big Mac for that anymore. Ethereum developers proposed raising the staked ETH requirement for validators from 32 ETH to 2,048 ETH. What kind of rich guy thing is that? That's not cool. The proposal sparked mixed reactions with concern about increased centralization. Yeah, obviously. Lastly, the anonymous FAF wallet, named as the most important wallet to watch in NFTs right now. I don't know about that. I think that's mine. Was revealed by Twitter account DJohnson_CPA to be, none other than Pimp Capital, one of the largest DGOD whales, who has this month spent more than $10 million on NFTs. Where do these people get their money? I'm curious. I want to see a crib episode on this guy.
I'm Pimp Capital, represent. Welcome to my crib.
Hey, dude, never interrupt my... Dude, come on, man. Crypto, 26.7, ETH 1,700, Solana 15.8, Ape $2. NFT Nick looking good. PO, back to you in the studio.
I mean, Kix, I just got to say your rhythm with the weather report is so unorthodox. It's so interesting. I kind of feel like we need to start clipping it, and people are just the videos are going to go viral because people just won't be able to look away. It's just so different and interesting.
I make sure to snort just like a 5 milligram Adderall before every time you have me do the weather report, just to come in 110% for you.
Thank you for doing drugs through your nose, so that they go.
I don't have a prescription either, so it's illegal.
The doctor didn't recommend that you snort Adderall?
No, I'm saying it's not even legal Adderall. It's illegal Adderall that I'm doing.
I mean, some doctors are crazy, man. I got a doctor story from this weekend that I got to tell you guys when we do our little pop culture segment. But anyway, updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, the daily newsletter published from the Nifty.com. You need to have an account at the Nifty.com to claim today's free NFT. So go there, thenifty.com, and make an account. All you need is an email. Fidelity, the world's third largest asset manager, is reportedly planning to apply for a Bitcoin ETF and submit an offer to acquire Grayscale, the largest digital currency asset manager. Old Barry Silbert is in the news yet again. That's wild. Blur has launched mobile support. Bunny had a very funny tweet where he said, now you can lose all your money mobilely, allowing users to buy, list, lend, and manage their portfolio from their phones, and also use the platform without requiring a wallet signature. Sounds frictionless, but also maybe hackable. We'll have to see how that pulls out or continues to develop. Terra co-founder.
Always remember, PO.
Okay. Terra co-founder Do Kwon has been sentenced to 4 months in prison in Montenegro for using a forged passport amid ongoing investigations in South Korea and the U.S. over the collapse of Terra Luna and Terra USD. So 4 months in the books for Do Kwon. One more story. Following an early observation that a Blur farmer was extremely over-leveraged on Bored Ape Yacht Club, liquidation fears have slowly crept up on the collection, causing a further bleed to its floor price. Those are your updates. Before we get into the stories that we're going to cover, Spencer, what are your thoughts on the bleed on Bored Ape Yacht Club's floor price?
I don't know. Like, here's kind of like everything's bleeding, right? Like, I think this is something that like is really important when looking at the NFT market. Is you got to think, like, is this a collection specific thing or is this an everything thing, right? Is this just the macro of what's going on? And this is where I think everyone's like, oh, Blur ruined the NFT market. Oh, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club is dying. Like, it looks to me like NFTs have just been bleeding for several months, right? And, you know, did Blur launch several months ago? Yes. Now, are they correlated? Yes. Yeah. Is there causal? I don't know, right? Like, is this just NFTs aren't doing so hot? Bored Apes are an NFT, and therefore Bored Apes aren't doing so hot. Like, you got to think too, this is not as bad as the first BendDAO liquidations, right? Like, that was ETH at 1,200. Bored Apes went down to 40 ETH. And since then, there's been an airdrop of the sewer passes, right? So,
yep.
You got to think, like, so I don't know, like, it feels to me like it's really interesting. Like, I feel like there's greater panic today at this price than there was like 8 months ago after FTX collapsed, when there was cascading liquidations on BendDAO for the first time.
Facts.
And that just feels weird to me. Like, that felt, I'll be honest, that moment felt structurally much scarier than right now. Like, right now, I think the bleed is boredom bleed, right? People are just saying, okay, NFT space is leaving. People are like capitulating out of just like big positions. Okay, like, no shit. Like, it's been boring for months. Like, this is just kind of what's happening in the NFT space. Unique users have been going down, volume's been going down, price has been going down. If you've been paying attention the last like several months, like, that's just what's happening. Now, does it go down below post FTX levels? I don't know. That would be interesting to see. But also, like, this is where, you know, one of the biggest questions I think you should have right now in the NFT space is what % of the Bored Ape Yacht Club price is the value of its staking rights, right? When ApeCoin goes down 50%, you know, apes aren't down 50%, but they're down a bit. And I think that has to do with the percentage of their value, which is attributed to their staking rights. Makes sense, you know?
A number of things here, Spencer. You were calling this space boring, which I take a little bit of offense to. when Pio's out here giving David Goggins impressions and just absolutely dominating those, that to me is entertaining, and that's enough for me. Okay, so that's keeping me in the NFT space. The other thing that I was going to say is, I think you're right. I've actually thought about this for a while about, did Blur kill the market? But here's one of the beauties of Blur: the sheer volume of apes that can dump into Blur in a short period of time is pretty insane. Like
OSF and Mando liquidated $9 million in one click.
Yeah, that was at a higher price, but yeah, the
correct.
Right now, it's pretty crazy seeing the volume that ends up happening on Bored Apes into liquidation. So if like you want a quick $75,000 for your quote e-liquid JPEG, is what people were saying before. It's a pretty awesome place to be, that you can still go get. Sorry, not 75 grand. My apologies. 69 grand.
Nice.
That's pretty sick. And it's a good place to be. So yeah, but yeah, the chart tells the tale that you're expressing here, Spencer, which is we've been down on the ape side of things ever since April 24th, which is, well, you know, that's
day in the year. That's just how it is. I mean, here's my thing.
Last year, by the way, April 24th. That should be clear.
There's $70,000 a pop, dude. People are like, oh, they're done.
There's 10,000 of them.
I was buying these things for $2,000 in 2021. Like, they're still $70,000. Like, they're like up 35x. And I don't know, man. I just the takes in this space are just getting more and more dumb and just trashy, and I don't like it at all. I mean, it's literally, I think it's a mixture of people talking crap because they own bags of another up and coming project that they want to be the next number one, so they're rooting for the downhill of Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they talk about how Yuga Labs hasn't done anything. What has your project done? Let's be real, dude. Let's be honestly real. What is like the magical innovation that your project's doing? That, like, are you guys creating utopia somewhere that I haven't heard about? Like, what are you guys doing? Building like the largest skyscraper in America? No, it's just, there's a mixture of that, and then people just like to talk shit on Bored Ape Yacht Club because they talked a little shit on the way up. That's fine. That's how it goes. So, you know, they got to take it on the chin on the way down. But I just don't like the, you know, trashing on Yuga Labs, and I don't own many Yuga Labs assets, but they're trying to do stuff, man. It's a bear market. Prices are going to be choppy. Stuff's going to go up and down. They're still worth $70,000 a pop. What's their entire market cap of everything? Like over $1 billion, $1.5 billion. Like,
well, and also, like, here's another thing that I think people like for context, right? Like, Ethereum went in the 2016 cycle, went from like $1,200 to $83. Like, you have to remember that's how far it pulled back, and then it went back up to $4,800 in the next cycle, right? So like, Bored Apes could go down a heck of a lot further, and it still doesn't count them out for coming back in the next cycle, right? If ETH went from $1,200 to $83, like, we're nowhere near that level of capitulation in like the Bored Ape price, right? And so there is, if you say, okay, like, Bored Apes will go down more, yeah, I probably agree, right? Like, they probably go down more, right? Does that mean that they're out for the count? Like, I just don't think so, and I don't know where that argument is coming for people. It's people who likely weren't around in the last cycle or haven't seen the last like how this stuff works. Like, I'll say this right now. I don't think we've seen like true NFT capitulation yet. Like, it shocks me things are as high as they are.
Yeah. I think people are like now realizing, as opposed to like what you said in November during the collapse, like now I think people are consciously or subconsciously realizing how small the amount of active participants is right now. So it's like everybody's fighting over a couple of slices in a pizza pie. You know what I mean? And now they're starting to get kind of like hungry, and they're like fighting over scraps right now. That's what I feel like a lot in like the energy. At the end of the day, dude, like, what, you know, this is like, I don't know why you want to root for their downfall. It doesn't make sense to me. I think, well, that's, like, yeah.
I was just going to say that's been in the crypto space for quite a while. Basically, as soon as alternative assets besides Bitcoin started to get traction, you had the like kind of toxic Bitcoiners lashing out at the other assets, I think because they view those other assets as taking liquidity away from Bitcoin. And if all that liquidity just went into Bitcoin, it would have already, cost $1 million per Bitcoin. So that's always going to be there. People only care about what they're financially invested in. I mean, if someone makes a bet on a sports team for a game, and you say something negative about the sports team ahead of the game, they get mad because they have $100 bet. Sure. So how about somebody that's owning a $70,000 Bored Ape? It's a different story. I mean, Nick, those sunglasses tell a story. What's going on?
Dude, I'm just out here and being strong for the market. That's all that I'm doing. Just out of here presenting strength and a position of
He doesn't want to reveal his hand either. He has buy targets.
He has buy targets.
I'm out here counter bidding people. The ERC 1155 tokens is literally like the worst game ever. I'm out here placing offers on our own stuff and like counter bidding other people. And there's people like I have a bidding war and it's pissing me off. But I'm staying strong where I'm at now.
I love to hear it. Real quick, one other thing is if you look at like cyclical math, like the math of these cycles, we're still like at least 9 months out, non-negotiable from when a new cycle could really start to take off if the math continues the way it has, which obviously there's no guarantee of that. And
you
this
a mathematician, Pio?
I'm a mathematician, man. Yeah, 100%. No, I'm not. Signal, looks like you wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I don't know what math you're referring to, Pio, but
the math of how much the time in between cycles, the time between the highs and the lows of the cycles.
Yeah. So like, I think, I completely agree with what you're saying. And, throughout for the past 2 years of doing this podcast, you've heard several people come in and say, I think we could see as low as 40 or, even lower and as high as the numbers we have seen. And we are just swinging around those numbers. I don't think we've hit any kind of unpredictable black swan event on Bored Ape Yacht Club's assets. Everyone has been talking about this for a very long time. It is by no case the canary in the coal mine. There have been other signals in the market. So I kind of feel like there should be no surprise about where we are right now. And then thirdly as well, like look at other collections. Other collections are doing really well. You've seen demand go to DGOs, go to Pudgies, go to Captains. So I think it's good that we're seeing this liquidity cycle through other projects. I think in maybe last year people would have been saying that if apes are at 40, everything else is decimated, but actually we're seeing apes at 40 and other collections do well, and I look at that as a very positive sign across the PFP market, especially considering these assets still cost anywhere between 70,000 for an ape or 20,000 for a captain. So I think we're in a good spot, and this is just this has been predicted, and we're not on any outliers across the market.
Yeah, similar take to Kicks there from Signal for sure. I think I'm in that camp as well. Little detail, that FAF wallet was revealed to be Free Lunch Capital. He clearly thinks it's a good time to be buying. He's one of the largest DGODs whales and NFT whales. He has they have 86 Bored Apes, 89 DGODs, 81 mutants, 37 Pudgy Penguins, 15 Azukis, and more. They spent $10 million on NFTs in the past month, according to NFT Statistics, friend of the show. Talk about being counter-cyclical. Spencer, do you know these people?
I chatted with these people, but I've seen them around on the digital streets. They've bought a lot of cool stuff. They have a great collection. I don't know, a funny name. I'm curious. They mentioned in the tweet where they're talking about this that it's part of some sort of larger thing they're doing, and so I'm curious. Like as we learn more about Pimp Capital, about kind of how they operate, who they are, what their plan is for this. Like, I'm curious. I think if you look though, this was, and again, we used to just see this more often. Was people coming into the space with 5 to 10 mil, being like, okay, I want to make some bets in the NFT space. What's my allocation? Like we saw someone buy a goose for 6 mil recently, right? Like you got to think, and maybe I'm wrong here, but like this is in the scope of how you could spend 10 mil for exposure to the NFT space. Like what they've done so far seems reasonable.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely operating in a counter-cyclical way.
I would also recommend they check the DNS settings on their website. It's not working right now.
Okay. Quick take. What's the high? So just a quick zinger here. What is the highest value 30-day play here? Heavy metal at 0.8 ETH. Other side vessels at 0.26 ETH. Other deed expanded at 0.6 ETH. Kennel dogs at 3.4 ETH or ApeCoin at $2. So you got 5 Yuga Labs assets. Easy's got an opinion.
Bet. It's a combination bet, in my opinion. It's other deed expanded, redeemed ones, and floor vessels is my speculative play here. I think the heavy metal forging is going to be something, but I think there's going to be more interaction with the vessels and other deed expanded. I think that's a speculation on what the card game is going to be around. Forging is going to be with the heavy metals. That's more of like an idle play style game. And those are the key things that I've said my price target was under an ETH for another deed expanded in a vessel. So we're there. So I should probably act on it instead of sitting on my hands like I tend to do, and actually make the trade that I called out, and am thinking that we'll see some positive price action going into the game. So that's something I'm like eager to see. I think all the focus is on the heavy metals, the vessels, and the other deed expanded at the current moment. So I'd be staying away from the higher priced assets. I also think lower priced assets have higher upside with like more volatility that enters the space.
Spencer, do you have an opinion on this? Heavy metal, vessels, other deed expanded, kennel dogs, ApeCoin.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're all like reasonable on different time horizons. My guess is on a long time horizon, the other deed or other deed expanded is probably the play. And the only reason I hesitate between those two is other deed expanded, you're paying that 5% royalty, whereas other deed doesn't have the royalties established. So, depending on your time horizon, how you're thinking about this. But that being said, like the utility of the vessel probably will happen at some point soon. So you're probably going to have to migrate. So, I don't know if that will, there may be a case at some point where you've missed out on some value that's accrued to the vessels because they were still attached to your other deed. So I expect them to push more towards other deed expanded. So I don't know, on a longer time horizon though, I think other deed expanded is probably the best play. It's either that or I don't know, ApeCoin is so dependent on what your other Yuga assets are, right? Like buying naked ApeCoin, but buying ApeCoin with a mutant, that's your ApeCoin play. If you want ApeCoin exposure, I think buying buying some sort of Yuga asset where you can stake at a very high yielding rate is probably the play amongst the Yuga assets. I wouldn't just go grab me some ApeCoin in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to buy these tokens in the dark. I've talked about it with Blur. ApeCoin falls into the same category, in my opinion. Nick?
I just bought 10 tokens basically in the dark. I mean, I had sunglasses on. So just throwing that out there. It's not impossible.
Let's go.
I paid 50% in gas.
No, that was via WETH offer on our own NFT. But in terms of which trade here,
Ape token. Sorry.
Oh no, I didn't buy. I'm not buying Ape token here. I think I like Easy's play here. The fact that he had even a nuanced perspective on revealed versus not on the other deed expanded, which I don't know how to even check that. One
is called other deed expanded. The other is just other deeds. Other deeds, you have a chance to hit a rare vessel, which is trading at almost a 2x premium, but it's one of those pre-reveal versus post-reveal gambles. I just feel more comfortable paying less than the premium on a speculative bet. Because if you don't hit the rarest vessel, you're immediately underwater. Yeah, you're immediately underwater. So you have a 10% chance. The R&R there for me is just worse than if you just buy the
dealing in every aspect in life is negative EV in almost every kind of mechanic.
When the baby comes out, it's
minus
reveal,
EV. Minus EV.
No one cares anymore, right? They only care what
adopt, you know what you're getting.
Get a little more structure, you can pick it out, you kind of decide a couple of the key attributes.
It's
shout out to all the orphans out there, Kick's got your back.
Yeah, you're post reveal plus EV.
I like picking up for 1 ETH though. I mean, or you got heavy metal, you got vessels, the other although there's so many of these damn things now. I think what's interesting though is it definitely maybe their ability to generate all these tokens in this one area may not have had as big of an impact on the underlying items like the apes and the mutants, which are getting hit right now. But it just seems surprising to me. In all the other ecosystems, they've always had the moment that it was dilution across the board, if that makes sense. You introduce one token, it has equal dilution for all the others. I
And
guess
it's tough
technically,
too because there's so many different moving parts. Like heavy metal's separate from Bored Apes, Mutants, Dogs, but like it's the same story. But like the games are separate, and heavy metal's separate from Other Side and Vessels. So it's just a lot of moving parts, which I think like in a shrinking ecosystem at the current moment, it becomes difficult for the same liquidity to cycle across. Whereas like more siloed plays is kind of the thing, which is why like I just feel more comfortable focusing on what they're focused on and what they've made clear. Like Garga tweeting about forging makes it pretty clear heavy metal is going to come. And then you just have the game, which like they've continued to be the focus. I mean, the recent hires are all pointing towards game mechanics.
Well,
I know Spencer doesn't like naked ApeCoin, but wouldn't it be? I'd be surprised if ApeCoin is not involved in the game, given how profitable it was for them to use it in Dookie Dash. And you even had their CEO saying in an interview if they had seen revenues like they saw on Dookie Dash over at Activision, the C-suite would have been very pleased. So I would just be very surprised if ApeCoin doesn't have some kind of component in any up and coming game. And we also saw ApeCoin move. I can't remember how much it moved up by when Dookie Dash was on, but it just feels like it has to be part of that ecosystem and interwoven into the rest of the assets. I just can't see it being left out, and we're sort of starting to reach a number where it feels a little bit like, is ApeCoin underpriced given the upcoming game? So I think like amongst all the assets, it's still a play within the game.
But I think there's a couple of nuances because if like he mentioned, like if we saw this revenue at Blizzard, well, you only can realize the revenue in the ApeCoin if then you sell it back into USDC, which negates any of the buying pressure. And then also you need enough buying pressure to offset the inflation every month too. So I think there's some nuances to it.
There's certainly nuances. Go ahead, Spencer.
I was gonna say also like I think the big bet here is like what are game pieces versus what is like the metaverse play versus what is like people are talking about IRL Clubhouse, etc. Right? Like what is kind of the bigger thesis here? I suspect in the long run we will look back on this period and say, wow, we valued game pieces more heavily than we valued other
social
deeds.
club.
Like, what were we thinking? Like that's kind of my long-term thesis is like, I think they're playing around with a game in the interim before they do the metaverse play, which will happen in the next bull market. And like the game pieces to me, like I keep feeling maybe like they're a distraction from the actual asset, which is the Other D Expanded. Could be totally wrong there. Like the Other D Expanded could also basically just be a game piece. But like, if I had to pick one thing, I'm like, I don't think this is going to get diluted. It would be the actual real estate.
Exactly. I'd rather have real estate in the game than just something like a tool in the game, right? You probably also are going to want tools in the game, but like the real estate, I'd imagine is, very, very valuable if you're, framing it as that this game is going to be big. So look, checking in on Midcap NFTs, Doodles and Moonbirds down below 1.9 ETH now, continuing to bleed. CloneX Artifact at 2.2 ETH. Oddities at this point are at 0.2 ETH. Could these be a buy given Mythics are dropping in July? What do we think about Oddities at 0.2 ETH?
I'd rather just wait for Mythics and see where the price action goes. Like I like the art of Mythics. I like the speculation of Mythics. The CloneX one is like probably the most interesting for me just because of what Dot Swoosh has just been able to achieve and what they're pushing out with the Fortnite side of things. And that to me is like a bigger potential avenue. But like right now you can actually have wearables with the Dot Swoosh in Fortnite is like the big speculation. So like this could be a segue into CloneX in Fortnite at some capacity. And that's a big speculation, I will say. Like there's been no context of it, but like I'd probably take a slight flyer there if we continue to see them breach under 2. The Doodles play, I'm staying away from a few other things over there, but I think CloneX seems interesting, and I'd rather just wait to see Mythics. Like I like the art of Mythics.
Wow, Moonbird is at 1.8. That's crazy, man. Yo, that's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy. Those things are underwater. You know what else is underwater? A missing submarine.
Oh,
so what all right, so I don't know anything about this submarine story. What is the submarine story?
Okay, so I've been obsessed with this thing that's been going down. So let's set the stage here. So if you're filthy rich, all right, like way too much money, you can pay $250,000 per person to sit in something the size of a broom closet and go and look at the Titanic, like from me to my monitor closeness of this. The thing is, and Clemente, can you please pull up?
Oh, this is setting up for a
Dude,
good thing here.
so
I paid to look at the Titanic and died in the process.
Oh, dude. So this video, by the way, this video is the wildest video I've ever seen. So the team is explaining what this Titanic is, or what this submarine is. That's the window that you can look through. So it's about the size of like this big, and only one person can look out at a time. You have to sit.
Well,
You
it
can't
looks
stand.
bigger than the hand presence that you just made, but slightly
Same
larger.
idea. So okay, like maybe that big. All right, but like a window. But so the submarine's been missing for like 37 hours at this point, maybe 38 hours. They only have like 35 to 40 hours of oxygen left right now in the sub. They think that the submarine got stuck on something in the Titanic. And the way that they're, dude, so that controller, please make that full screen. This controller is a $29 controller that you buy on Amazon, and it controls the submarine with Bluetooth, with a USB port. The guy's like, yeah, dude, like it's meant for 16-year-olds to throw around. It's a $29 Amazon controller that
Do they have a
controls
backup
submarine.
and like extra batteries? Or
Oh,
no?
yeah, they said that they got a bunch of them. They said we got a
they're
bunch in
fine.
case they break. But the thing is, this thing's also connected to a wire that can supposedly pull the sub back up, but they can't just yank it up because of the bends. And because if it's stuck on something, that wire could break. So someone paid 250 grand to go and sit with 4 other people that all each paid 250 grand to go look at the Titanic underwater. And now the sub is missing.
How did it go missing? Because I'm pretty sure we've had submarine since like
Dude, the sonar just
1930s.
shut off. The sonar just like
Just missed
disconnected.
a key ingredient here. There's a controller. Who's controlling that controller?
Someone in the thing to like spin it around. You can
There's
spin
a
it around
pilot.
underwater. Yeah.
There's a
No,
pilot.
but anybody can be the pilot is the thing that they say in the video. Anyone can just control the sub that pays 250 grand.
Hey,
And
aren't they using Elon's Starlink for internet?
Oh,
is that an actual thing? Dude, they're like 250,000 feet
thought-
in the water. Like,
I thought that they were. I thought they were using Elon's tech for the internet. So if the sonar shut off, it could be on him, dude.
so to be clear, the sub is missing right now.
completely
So-
missing. Yeah,
I
and they're
mean-
sending people down to go look for this sub. Dude, just everything about this is like the most terrifying thing here. Like, the question comes down.
Fraud.
No, dude. Well, if it's insurance fraud, there's 4 people on the submarine, so you're doing insurance fraud with killing 4 people.
I don't know if you know the history of the Titanic, my guy, but that was insurance fraud too. Why do you think none of the execs got on the boat, huh?
The math is mathing. The math is mathing. The math is mathing. But the crazier part too is one of the people on this just has to have a death wish. They went on that blue ocean thing, the space thing last year, and now they did this year. So this person's dumped like $500,000 to just go to every single side that they could possibly go. The deep ocean, deep space. This thing is the craziest thing I've heard. And they're just like, yeah, they got like 30 hours. We're sending a boat down there. We don't really know what's going to happen.
Real quick.
I mean, the nice thing is at least they'll die in 36 hours, like not like slowly die over like 3 weeks.
Dude, they slowly lose oxygen. What do you mean?
I thought you said the oxygen will be out in 36 hours.
Yeah, but like it just depletes and then eventually you just choke, like you don't have air, so you die.
Yeah, but I mean, at least you're gonna die like quicker instead of like having to eat each other. Like you wouldn't even be that hungry by the time you die.
So real quick, last night Spencer was telling us the best place to go visit instead of the Northern Lights is this bioluminescent bay in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I've been there. Phenomenal. Great recommendation.
And so my question is for Spencer, bioluminescent bay in Puerto Rico or submarine to go check out the Titanic?
I don't want to get nowhere near the Titanic, my man. I'm down in the bay. I'm sitting. I'm looking at the glowing. So this bay, they got phytoplankton in it, right? And they activate they luminesce, so they become bright and shiny by motion. And so as you're paddling, you get these like glass bottom kayaks, and as you're paddling, the kayak paddles like light up in the water. It's like the craziest thing you've ever seen. It's this
Dude,
natural
just stay out of
phenomenon.
the ocean. There's sharks.
Let him finish.
But yeah, that's why it's a bay. It's not the ocean.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, that looks like a lot better than getting on a submarine and getting lost underwater when you're just trying to look at the ruins of another ship that people died on underwater a long time ago. Signal, was there something you wanted to get in on?
I was going to say, like, it's just such a grim story there because they're 4 kilometers deep, 4 kilometers, which is just insane. And the guys like a British, well, like one of the guys on there's like a British billionaire. I don't know who the other. Then you've got the pilot, you've got the content person as well, and I'm missing one more person, so I don't know who the fourth one is. But just 4 kilometers down, and like you just start thinking like, what is there not a black box? Like you get on an airplane, and the amount of questions you're just thinking like how, and the weather. The guy tweeted that the day that they launched was probably the only day that this expedition could happen in this year because the weather has been so bad, and they got this little window to go and do it. So I don't know if it's like, you know, anything linked to the weather, or it's just, you know, they're stuck and they got lost. But just my heart goes out to them. 4 kilometers deep in the Atlantic.
That's terrifying.
It takes 8 hours to go down and to come up. So it's like the clock for these guys is ticking so hard, because it's not even like they have 36 hours. You have to think about how long it will take for them to come up as well. So, I just hope they get found, because it's a horrible situation. Super
There
grim,
is a toilet on
grim.
board. There is a toilet. They have shown the toilet. So someone just commented there's no toilet, no bathroom. There is a toilet on board.
Does
The
it
other
dump into the water, or is it just accumulating right now?
it just like piles up. It just
it's like an
gets
RV.
messy. It gets messy.
RV
Dude,
starts to smell.
the other thing though is they're bolted in. So even if they get this thing above like ground with say like 30 minutes to go, they still have to unbolt the sub to get oxygen in. Like they can't get out on their own. It's bolted in from the outside.
I mean, you're basically 4 miles or 2.5 miles underwater in a sauna with 3 other people trying to look at a boat that crashed into an iceberg like 115 years ago. A lot going on there. I might be off on that date. Any closing thoughts on the submarine?
Hope it works out.
One person's clearly not enjoying the fecal matter going on inside of that situation, but that is terrifying. So why don't they send another submarine down to go figure out the situation?
So I think they're sending something down. Dude, you got to watch the video. There's a 1-minute video of the team talking about this, and the guy's just laughing his ass off. He's like, yeah, so sign away my rights. This is not regulated. This is not inspected. If I die, I'm not going to hold you liable. All right, sign it away. And just like the guy who owns this thing is just like laughing about it. Dude, I've never been so uncomfortable.
What? Can we play that real quick?
Yeah, I sent it to Clemente in the chat.
There is a search and rescue going on, but I think it's about where it is the problem. They don't know where it is, and once they figure out where it is, then you can have the solution. So
do you think if they rescue them, like they're still okay as a company? Like they could still get in.
Hold on. Business. It looks like Clemente is trying to play this, but there's no audio on it.
We need the sound on this, because that's the part where he starts talking about it. Dude, this is the wildest thing.
Service. An experimental submersible.
Why did he pause it?
Press play. Press play, buddy.
I think his computer froze.
We believe in you.
You got this.
Vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
Oh, take your shoes off. That's customary.
Okay. Now, inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea. It's also the only one with a toilet, sort of. And yet I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller. It seems like.
Wow.
Wow, I want to see the rest of that video. That's the most ludicrous. That was painful to observe. They said bathroom kind of. So whoever's confidently said there's a bathroom, it looked like there's a handheld device that you can like pee into basically. But like that's about it. And now
imagine the first guy that has to like poop right now. Like that's an awkward kind of thing. Like, guys, I'm either gonna like shit my pants or I could do it in the toilet. But like either way.
Dude,
Good
he
God.
touches the light and goes, I got this from Camper World.
The Amazon controller is really something. All right, well, I hope that they get rescued. They're 2.4 miles underwater. They should send an actual real submarine down there to just grab them and bring them up.
Well, I don't know if the problem there, Pio, is what you're talking about is that submarines don't have grabbers. Like it's not like built in to that situation, but you could probably get an exploratory submarine. You know, those like small, I feel like there's those 1-person submarines that can go down, but I don't know if 2.5 miles is like exceeds the pressure level that those 1-person submarines can do, which are like a clear bubble essentially that you can go down in.
Yeah, and it would also, Nick, it also would need like arms or something, right, to like dislodge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I called them grabbers, but yeah, whatever you want to call it. So that sounds like quite a difficult situation there. I mean, yeah, this just hurts. Like to have observed that situation and to know that there's still oxygen for 35 hours. That is like. It's kind of painful discussing this right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, if anyone in there has NFTs, they're not worried about their bags right now. I guarantee it. They're not like, oh, I wonder if like, you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club's down today.
They have bigger worries. Coach said to send Goggins. Goggins is going to be like, heard there were 4 of them stuck in a submarine. I'm a Navy SEAL. Just goes and fishes them out real quick. Ha-ha, motherfucker. Anyway,
one last thing as well. Just one last thing. So when companies or like exploratory companies go down to see like the Titanic, they're not allowed to touch it. Like can't go near it. It's extremely difficult to map because the distance between the bow and the stern is like 800 meters, and then you just have all this wreckage around it. So it's taken them until last year that they could actually map this area. And then on top of that, the Titanic is literally rusting away. So it's going to disintegrate at some point. So even if they are stuck down there, it becomes this huge thing of like, what can they literally tamper with, destroy, and take apart to try and get this submarine out of what is, essentially an iconic relic. So there's like so many moving parts to this Titanic rescue operation. And if whether they can even get other submarines, like mini submarines or any kind of submarine to go down, find them, rescue them without destroying the original Titanic. So yeah, 36 hours. I hope they get them.
What if they went down and the submarine just collapsed on itself, and that's actually the situation that we're dealing with at this point? Like, because there could have been a flaw in the actual manufacturing of it. So maybe like there's an assumption right now. Is there some sort of like monitoring system that actually verifies that the oxygen is in there? Because it doesn't seem like this was like built in an advanced model. So like there could have been a world where like there was a leak or something like that. Like how do they know definitively that it was stuck?
That's their speculation. They've lost all track of it. Like there's no sonar, there's no messaging. They don't know where it is under there. They just know it's near the Titanic.
I think that quote was that there's been more people in space than people that have gone this deep in the ocean. I remember a few years ago, James Cameron, the director of the feature film Titanic, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, or is it Kate Blanchett? One of them. Anyway, before the Oscars or one of the major award ceremonies, I think it was the Oscars, went in a solo submarine down, I think, as low as the Titanic to explore things. And people were giving him a hard time about doing that because like a mission like that's like a death wish. But he was down to do it and he figured it out. It's kind of wild. But yeah, hope these guys figure it out. It's heavy stuff.
I think we solved the problem here. Like unfortunately, they got in a submarine which was not prepared to go 2.5 miles deep underwater because the amount of pressure that it can take. Like when you start Googling, like I was Googling solo submarine max depth, and there's all these like quotes here about 4,345 feet. But a mile is over 5,000 feet. So you're saying they're 2.5 miles deep. There's another thing here saying deepest dive by a crewed vessel solo is 35,000 feet, which is way further. But that's like probably from a submarine designed for this particular like expedition to like achieve some world record. And the way that that information was presented there was like backyard submarine manufacturing is what it like looked like. And that's just fucked up. Like, I don't understand why, like, that just, it seems like the people behind it truly had a death wish.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That video was weird foreshadowing about the, just the concerns that the guys had. Am I ready to drop this animation? And then the free NFT subsequently. Clemente, are we good on that?
We're good to go with the free NFT. I'm ready with that whenever you are.
Okay, let's drop this animation.
Hold on. Or sorry, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to drop it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is animation number 2 from the first litter, BoDoggos.
One?
Sorry?
There wasn't just one?
There wasn't just one.
What?
First thing I noticed when I looked down was the bright red spray paint scrawled across the side of the box. Took me a second to figure out what it was saying too, since I'd never seen that word anywhere before in my life. BoDoggos. There was about 6 or 7 of the cutest puppies you'd ever want to lay eyes on squirming around that box. One in particular caught my attention. Looked like he was already destined to be the leader of the pack. "How's it going, buddy?" I said to him just like that. He gave me a yip like he recognized his name, so I guess it just kind of stuck. Turned out to be one of those crossroads moments that first night I met Buddy and the rest of the BoDoggos. Next morning, I came back around to check on Buddy and the gang. Everything looked like it was cool from a distance. Saw a litter of scrappy young pups diving into day-old donuts scrounged fresh out the dumpster. You could tell they were definitely fighters, and happy too. Just when I was about to call out, I heard the back door of the bodega slam hard and the owner of the joint came out, huffing, puffing, and cussing, talking about whose goddamn dogs are these. Uh-oh. Just like that, the BoDoggos were busted. I didn't know what was about to happen next.
Damn. I'm curious what's going to happen. What's even better, though, is this free NFT is looking straight fire with this comic here.
That's what I like to hear, Nick. Clemente, you can dish out the password, please.
Password for today's free NFT, we got an absolute banger today, is Busted2. BUSTED, and then the number 2. Go to the nifty.com and claim that today. That's going to be for comic number 2. As you just heard, it is the free NFT version of it. We're going to go ahead and claim that live right now as well.
Remember, if you collect all of them, that's allow list 1. Well, it's not guaranteed allow list 1. We're going to give how many away to
200?
200 people that collect all of these will get allow list 1.
Look at King Flores said. Hard to win over King Flores, I guess. Anyway, are we about to get Eminem featured? No, the voiceover, ladies and gentlemen, is not Eminem. On the YouTube show, we have the comic page number 2 from the first litter comic book as the free NFT. Go to the nifty.com, put in the code BUSTED2. What else do people need to know about BoDoggos in relation today? Nick, easy.
We got the pre-sale dropping today for portal holders. We took that snapshot at 11:59 p.m. last night. If you buy 10, you get airdropped 1 free. For every 10 you own, you can purchase up to 12. That link will be going out here shortly-ish. We'll post a thread on BoDoggo's Twitter, the Nifty Discord. So just for clarity as well, it's going to be able to be purchased in ETH. You do need a Phantom wallet. Enter your wallet address, and that's where we'll airdrop the NFT to on the 27th. If you have a preference to mint in Solana over ETH, join the Nifty Discord. We're going to have a workflow in there to make that as seamless as possible and get you a link for that as well. But just make sure you have a Solana wallet for the airdrop and or your portal wallet that holds the Nifty Portal NFTs. You will need that as well. We're trying to make it as seamless as possible. We understand that it is the first Solana NFT for a lot of Ethereum individuals, so we really want this process to be as seamless as possible. Tested the link this morning. Seems to be working flawlessly, so I'm excited for it.
And I had a question here, guys. So the Nifty Portal, so there's a snapshot last night. Do the portal NFTs that still exist on ETH, do those still do something? Am I
Well, I just bought 10 of them. So those portals are, well, the first thing, they're going to be used for the ETH PFP, which is what we had promised all along. And there's going to be a lot of updates coming on that pretty imminently. So for whatever reason, I think there's a lot of people that wanted to pick up BoDoggos. Shout out to them. If you want to grab a portal at a discount, which means you get the ETH PFP at a discount. I can't promise any price action, but I can say it's at a discount right now relative to where it was yesterday. So that's how I've been operating off of it. Is that, and where we're at is essentially mint price. So if you want to pick up a portal for what I believe they originally minted at, we're very close to that. The way to do that is by making an offer. But yes, those are going to provide value. The portals still, like, we're not done with the portals. Okay. Like,
obviously,
this is just one step in that process. And in that process, I'm now apparently the second largest holder. At some point I got to stop.
This is the first PFP that we put out. We're incredibly excited about it. We revealed the first very few sneak peeks of the art yesterday. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, only 4 actual BoDoggos were revealed yesterday. Mine, Easy's, Nick's, and Signals. The making of video was the making of BoDoggos. So you're watching iterations on BoDoggos, but the actual BoDoggos, the final versions, you've seen 4. You've seen mine, Nick's, Easy's, and Signals. We're very excited about it. We're very proud of the art and proud of what's coming out with this collection. And we're jazzed up about the ETH PFP too, which I think we'll be probably disclosing the name of it pretty soon. And that's just another really, really exciting thing. But in the meantime, enjoy BoDoggos. Enjoy something that's been worked on for a year that we're really excited about. And we hope you enjoy these animations. We hope you enjoy the artwork, and we hope you enjoy everything to come with this IP that we're building out in the BoDoggos corner. Anything else, Spencer, Nick, Easy, Signal, anybody? Kicks?
Yeah, when's mint? Because I'm excited to scoop some up.
Pre-sales today. You have portals.
Yeah, I know, but what time? Or is it just coming up?
I'm about to record a video tutorial just showing how to do it, and then we're going to go live. So probably, what do you think, around noon here, Easy?
I would say right around noon Eastern time, and then that'll run until Monday at noon. So we'll make sure we stay on top of the messaging for that. Yep. So you have 6 days, and then public will be 7. And
Easy, can you run me through real quick, since, you know, as a ETH man myself, I'm less familiar with this pre-sale concept versus a mint. So what's sort of like, how is this going to work when we? So I have my allocation. I took
the snapshot last night.
Took the snapshot last night.
Your portals, allocated the additional ones for every 10 owned. If you only have 1, you get 1 mint, etc. It's wallet gated. So based on the wallet that holds your portals, that's the one that you'll need to connect and mint from. So you'll be able to then pay. It's fixed $80 USDC. Send that transaction. There's a required field for your Solana address on the form. So you'll get that from
but to be clear, you're not paying with USDC. You're paying.
No, you're paying in ETH. You're paying in ETH to the equivalent of $80 US. You enter in a sole wallet address on the form, which is required before you can press pay. And then what that'll do is give us that list. And then on the 27th, we'll airdrop that based on the number that you mint to your Solana address. So trying to, like we said, make it as seamless as possible for ETH people.
One other thing to note on Solana, mints tokens are not sequential. They're randomized, which is what makes this possible. A lot of people try and like buy early in order to get token number 1. But in this case, it's random at where those numbers fall. So it's completely random. If you buy it right now, you have the same chance as anybody else. The only distinction is if you buy 10 or more, you get a free one for every 10 that you buy.
So I think those are most of the mechanics. I think the last detail to make sure you share is this is a pre-sale, right? And so the actual NFTs hit your wallet on the day of the public sale, right? So
Tuesday.
That's Tuesday of next week, right? So this is the pre-sale. And just to walk people through why we did it this way, we have a lot of people that own a lot of portals. I mean, Spencer has a lot of them in his fund. You know, we have several whales that own over 100 of our NFT, not just Nick. Several whales in the Discord. And the way things work in the Solana ecosystem, because I think a lot of people here probably haven't participated on Solana that much, on Solana, things move very, very fast, like extremely fast. So the public sale on Solana, the waves are going to be very, very brief, because that's in line with the culture of mints on Solana. We didn't want to go and try to push back on a well-established culture. And so, but at the same time, we didn't want to go to a whale that has 100 of our NFT and say, you need to show up in this 30-minute window. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on the project. Yeah. That didn't really feel like a very professional way to operate. So we did a 6-day pre-sale, so that those whales that I'm going to go ahead and assume are busy people that own over 100 of our NFT, you can do the dollar amount of how much that's worth, will be able to casually mint, and they have options to mint in either Ethereum or Solana. So really the mindset was give a white glove experience for everybody that supported us thus far, especially those that have a lot. So there's the whale perks, and then there's this extended window for the pre-sale. So just hang out, buy in the pre-sale in the next 6 days, starting today up until Monday of next week. Then the juicy public sale and, allow list 1, allow list 2, the Solana sale happens on Tuesday of next week. And that's going to be done like Solana sales are done. But we wanted to make sure to give this white glove experience for everybody that supported us, especially those that have a lot of our NFT, and not inconvenience anybody that's been a supporter. And so that's why we have this 6-day pre-sale, so people can mint at their leisure and stress-free. And we're just really excited.
That's the high roller table in Vegas. That's what we're saying. Like, come on in. We're going to give you a free hotel room. Okay. You're going to, and it's a 5-star hotel.
There you go. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Pre-sale on BoDoggo starts today. We're really, really excited about it. And we hope you enjoy these animations. And we hope that you guys can see, just how much work we've put into, this drop and everything surrounding this drop, and what we're going to continue to put into building this brand, building this intellectual property, building this digital collectibles empire that we're leaning into. Content's not going anywhere. The YouTube channel's gotten 1 million views in the past 48 hours, and that's normal. That's everyday stuff for us. That's something that, is always the case. It's basically no big deal for me to roll out of bed and make a multi-million view video. And I've been doing that for a long time. And no, just kidding. But everything that I said about the numbers is true, which is pretty wild and exciting. So things are looking good. And anyway, go to the nifty.com/claim, put in the code BUSTED2 to collect today's comic. We're doing a 200 allow list giveaway for the people that collect all the comics. So today is comic number 2, Busted number 2, the nifty.com/claim. Thanks for listening, everybody.